Congratulations, though. Yeah, another big win tonight. Giving us an idea, kind of how you feel about your performance this evening.
I thought it was good. You know, obviously I got the win, so that's the most important. But I feel like at the beginning of the first round, I kind of punched myself out a little bit in those positions. So I should have went for more control and get into a dominant position before I looked for the finish. But it just when you're in that position and you hear the ref telling the guy, "Hey, move in advance," so then you know, okay, if I pick it up a little bit, I might be able to get the finish. So that's kind of what happened as was going through my head, and I could hear my coach saying, "Hey, calm down, don't go too much, don't do too much." But when you hear the ref telling him, "Hey, I'm about to stop it," then you look for the finish, you know. So I think I got a little too punch drunk in the first round, and I just got to calm down and get in a better dominant position.
Were you surprised that the fight wasn't stopped in the first? I mean, you were clearly in control.
No, not too really, because he just stayed in a turtle position. You know, he was really guarded. He wasn't really moving to expose himself too much. So that didn't surprise me. It was just kind of frustrating. You know, I was looking to advance to different positions, but it's hard with his body type in his belly, and if you stay in that turtle position, it's kind of hard to really get him extended. You know, so he just stayed in a good turtle position and kept defending himself. So that's what I had to deal with.
Like you said, you did look tired coming out the second. I mean, it was obvious. Were you surprised? I mean, I'm sure you work out. I'm sure you feel you're in good shape. You know, were you surprised at kind of how tired you got through that?
No, because I thought to myself, I'm like, fuck, I did that to myself. You know, I went punch crazy. You know what I mean? So I wasn't too surprised. It was just like, okay, now work from here. You know what I mean? You just got to deal with it and keep going. You know, you're in the fight still.
You know, you're part of this trio of guys that are fighting on the prelims tonight that everybody's got high hopes for. What do you feel like? I mean, the expectations for yourself. I mean, a lot of people, you know, believe all three of you guys have great things ahead of you. Where do you feel like you're at and where you go from here?
Right now, I'm looking just to get into more boxing, getting more of my stand-up, more just well-rounded with my hands. Obviously, the wrestling is still there, and I have that under control. So now, just looking to advance in other parts of my game.
Is there a danger, though, that I mean, we've kind of seen it with Ed Ruth tonight, to a certain extent. I don't know if you saw his fight.
Yes, I did.
Where, you know, because you're formidable wrestlers, you feel coming into MMA, you've got to prove your stand-up a bit more. And it happens with a lot of wrestlers that they don't go to the wrestling, you know, because you feel that you've got to prove that you've got the striking. Can you learn from that in that sense today, where you could have made it an easier fight for yourself?
Yes and no. You know, I mean, I think because it's not wrestling and it's MMA, you want to show that you have other skills, that you're developing other skills. I think for me, so much it was my whole camp, I was working for a southpaw guy. I was doing all my stand-up for a southpaw guy. And on Monday, I got a call saying, "Hey, your opponent backed out. Now you're fighting somebody different." So literally Tuesday, Wednesday was all watching this guy, trying to figure out what to do or go back to a different game plan. So my coach was kind of like scrambling around a little bit. So then he was just like, "Okay, well, let's just go back to your bread and butter. Why don't you just take him down and finish him? You know, you don't have any problems there." So I think that's kind of what happened more of this fight. So I think that was just a little bit of a mix-up.
Because he is a very unusual body shape. I mean, he doesn't look like a heavyweight either, does he?
No, he doesn't. I mean, he's 5'9",
like
41 pounds. You know,
he's
yeah.
that build. He's literally square, isn't he?
Right, yeah, and
I
that's actually harder to wrestle against because it's easier for him to stay compact. When you have a longer guy, it's a lot easier to just chop his arm down and spread his ass out, you know what I mean, and control his hips. But when he's compact, he's like when I did the first time I put my legs in, he rolled right. That was too easy for him, you know. That's why I waited for it to get him down and try to extend him more and then put my legs in.
You look at the longest winning streaks in the Bellator heavyweight division. It's Matt Mitrione, Czech Congo, yourself. Obviously, those guys have been in the game for a really, really long time. But when you hear that, like, how far away do you feel you are from those guys right now?
Not too far. I feel like I'm right on their coattail, really. I just got to get more of my experience on my feet, and I feel like then everything else will speak for itself. Everything else will come into place.
Yeah, so you watch like this heavyweight tournament, and you see these fights, and you're like, I could easily compete with those guys very soon.
Definitely, 100%. I mean, I think obviously my wrestling is at a whole different level than any of those guys in the tournament, but it's just you have to be well-rounded. You know, these guys have been in the game, had 10+ fights in the cage, and this is just my 5th fight period ever. You know, so I think it's just getting more well-rounded, getting more comfortable in the cage. I'm starting to feel definitely more comfortable and relaxed. Now it's just making practice feel like the cage.
You're a cheeky chappy, a good-looking man. You've always got a quip. You'd beat Chael Sonnen right now, wouldn't you?
No, I would never fight Chael Sonnen. That's my mentor. He's like a big brother to me. I've known him since I was in the 3rd grade. I've always looked up to him. I would never ever raise a hand to him.
I know, I'm teasing.
Is he going to win the tournament then?
I think he's going to beat Fedor. I think he's going to be in the finals. I mean, I really believe he's going to be in the finals. I mean, he's a chess master. You know what I mean? He breaks everyone down. He knows exactly what he needs to do to win those fights. So I think people sleep on him, you know, because he's an old man, but he's smart. You know what I mean? He uses his brain.
He's an old man, is he?
Yeah. So you're trying to get me in trouble a little bit. He's an older man. He's an older man. Let me say it like that. You know what I mean? But he's still in great shape. You know what I mean? He's still doing it. You can't take him lightly. You know what I mean? You can't take him lightly.
Going back to your opponent and the late switch 5 days out, you were very composed out there. But honestly, was there any jitters about he may be able to surprise me because I haven't had a lot of time to watch?
Yeah, I thought that was the one thing my coach was saying. Hey, don't take him too lightly. You know, he's not. I mean, he's 5'9". He doesn't look like the shape, but don't take him lightly. You know, he could surprise you with something. So, yeah, a little bit. That's why my coach was like, hey, just go take him down, put him in your world. You don't have to worry about anything.
You said that you were excited to fight a southpaw. So now that this fight's over with, what are you looking to challenge yourself with next?
I mean, I would like to fight a southpaw. Obviously, again, just having that challenge and not have fought a southpaw before. But I mean, really, anyone that wants to fight, I think is at this point. I just don't. It's kind of hard when people continuously keep dropping out. I would like that if somebody says they want to fight, then we fight. You know what I mean? That gets really frustrating. You know, I never had to deal with it right the week of a fight. I was just happy I was able to get out there and still able to fight. You know, so whoever wants to fight, I'm ready to fight.
You like the idea of getting on the September 29th card that everybody's talking about in San Jose?
Yeah, I'd like to fight next week if I can.